I've noticed that even though the flock is all mixed together, the babies still prefer to be kind of over here by themselves. They get down in the tall weeds, which is smart. We have 9 out of the original 14. So we lost 1, got trampled, 1 I found dead, I guess. And then we think that 3 must have been gotten by either a hawk or a snake or some other predator out here in the barnyard without us knowing. We never found their bodies or anything. So we got 9 out of the 14. I'm pretty sure that 5 of them are roosters because they're just so much bigger and I'm seeing roostery behavior. So I've got decisions ahead over the next month or so of what to do with those roosters. In about 2 months, they would be ready for eating if we want to do that, which we might. We have not eaten any of our birds because we never needed to cull for numbers, but I am definitely not opposed to it. Obviously the girls would all be for laying, so we'll see. The sky is killer tonight.
So full of desperation, I can barely stand the rotation. I can hardly start to speak, I'm weak.
So I'm about to go and get Pumpkin and her 6 chicks and bring them out to the garden for the first time. Today they are 3 days old and they're mostly just staying under mom, but she's been like having them eat and drink, but I'm just gonna bring their stuff out here for the day so that they can hang out here and enjoy being outside together. Where's your babies? Come out here with them.
So full of desperation, I can barely stand the rotation. I can hardly start to speak, I'm weak. I feel the past in my bones. I dream I'm naked and alone. I'm feeling weak.
Yesterday I had one of the hardest days I've had in a while. We learned some hard things. We learned some important things, and one of our kids has some consequences that they're gonna have to live with, which is hard to watch. But yesterday I also discovered something interesting. About a year ago, we bought our chicks, all the laying hens that we have now. But then by last October, they had grown big enough to where we needed roosters to protect them when they were outside. So we went to a local farm and I chose 3 roosters. I chose these 2 that we have, and I chose a rooster named Gandalf. That he was an Americana, a pure blood, and he's beautiful, But the thing we all loved about him is he never pecked at any of us. He was sweet and wonderful. When we moved to this location where we are now, for one day, we had an overlap with an existing rooster that was already here, that was waiting to be moved. And he and Gandalf got into a terribly bloody fight. Both of them were bleeding horribly. Oh, Gandalf is also the rooster that I saw going at the hawk that was coming at the chicken. He was a precious rooster. Anyway, he got mortally wounded, essentially. And we cared for him for days and days and days, but finally he died. During that time was when little Gray went broody, and we put eggs under her. And I was so sad because I thought there's probably no chance, because he was already weakened those last few days he was in the flock. So I just thought there's no chance. Well, yesterday I noticed that there's a rooster here, one of my little roosters. He's completely white, but he's a puffy white. He's not one of the thin whites like the little ones that we have. So I only have one girl that I think could be the mom of this one. But because Gandalf was an Americana, Americanas have these little muffs on their face, like a little fluffy beard around the bottom of their face. And look, he has it. So I'm pretty sure, and we laughed. So we said, he's Gandalf, right? And we said, if he lives, we'll start calling him Gandalf the White, because in the Lord of the Rings movies, when Gandalf comes back from the dead, he's Gandalf the White. So now I have Gandalf the White. It's just crazy fun. But when I realized that's who I have, this morning I decided that I was going to catch him before he got out of the coop and try to befriend this little rooster who I hope to get to keep as my Gandalf the White. One of the difficulties I feel like I'm facing in mothering is feeling like I'm always the bad guy. Maybe every parent feels that way, probably. But maybe having 9 people to say no to makes it compounded, I don't know. But I feel almost universally despised, condemned, irritating. Lately I have a lot of negative self-talk, I've noticed.
When your heart is filled with doubts and your mind is filled with boredom.
I am at a point in life where I'm struggling to see the good. Things do feel very hopeless to me right now. I don't mean that I don't have any hope in God. Actually, I don't know if I can share the story vaguely enough and still have it have meaning. Last night we had a disappointing thing happen. We had an interaction with one of our kids that tipped me off that some of my concerns were very likely valid, and I just kind of felt heartsick about it. But there wasn't really anything I could do, and Doug and I were out on a date. And prior, like yesterday afternoon, I was looking forward to going out to eat. But once we learned what we did, I just lost my appetite. I couldn't eat, and it was like the most accidental fast I've ever done. I couldn't eat. And at some point in the night, Doug and I were talking, and I just started crying about this child, and I just was sharing how burdened I was and how sad I was and how hopeless I felt like it was. And somewhere in me, it was like the seed of a seed to pray. It wasn't even like if I had to put words to it in my heart, there was something like, Jesus, please do something. But I didn't put that out of my mouth. It was just this guttural feeling in my heart of like, please. Well, I didn't know it, but at that very moment, God was, in a way that was completely disconnected from us, exposing that child, bringing things to light, and putting that child in a position that they couldn't get out of it. It brought a whole lot to the surface. But while I was feeling hopeless and desperate, and all I could do was cry and not even talk and not even eat, God really was at that very moment working for the good. No matter what comes out in this child's life long term, I know that God has intervened. I know that God is real. It's the most recent situation I can think of where God's action has been so clear to me. I'm very grateful, but I'm also still very much in the middle part of that story. One of the things that has been crystal clear to me through it is that God is able to bring to light any and everything that He wants to. And one prayer that I've prayed for our children for many years is that if and when they are doing wrong, that they will be caught. And so this weekend I saw the direct answer to that prayer at the exact moment that I was in anguish about that God did all of it without us even knowing anything. And so I share that mainly to give other mothers encouragement to pray, and that we can trust God with our teen and young adult children. We can entrust them into His hands, even in the hard things, maybe especially in the hard things.